Hey everyone, welcome to this video, and today we are going to learn what are React agents. We'll start by understanding why do we need agents, what exactly is a React agent, and then we are going to use an open source framework called Dynamiq to build a React agent. Dynamiq comes with Apache 2 license, and you can also use it to build RAG applications or for doing multi-agent orchestration, as well as managing any complex LLM workflow. So with that, let's come to the very first question. Why do we need agents in the first place? So LLMs in their original state have ability to reason or think, but they cannot take actions or they cannot interact with the external world. So this is where agents become important. And if we try to take a very simple definition, you can think of an agent as a person that uses LLM as its brain to reason, right? And it has hands to take action. So basically an agent gives an LLM ability to take action and interact with the external world. So with that in mind, let's move to our next section and understand what are React agents. React in a React agent stands for reasoning and action, and this is how you typically represent it. So there are two important things to note here, the LLM and the tools. The agent uses this LLM to think and reason, and the tools to perform various actions. So let's try to understand how a typical React agent would function. Suppose that you provide it a particular task, then it would use the LLM to reason over it and understand what exactly the user wants, then decide what tool it should be using, and then use this tool to perform an action and interact with its environment. Once that action is completed, or once the tool provides the result that it got from the environment, it is given back to the agent, right? Then the agent already have knowledge of the task. You have already provided it a certain result. Then once it has both the things, it would then provide a final response to the user. So this is how a typical agent or a React agent would function. Now let's try to understand the same thing with a real world example. In this case, the task is a user query that says that I'm in London. Do I need to use an umbrella today? Now, once the agent receives this query, it uses the LLM to reason over it. So there are two important things to note here. One, that the user is in London, and second, he wants to inquire about weather conditions. So once it is able to reason over it, the agent tries to take a look at like what old tools does it have access to, right? And then decides that weather API is the best tool it should be using in this scenario. So it takes an action to call the weather API, fetch the weather report as a result, and then these results are provided back to the LLM. Let's say the weather report says that it is going to rain today. So the LLM provides a final response and says that yes, you should take an umbrella. It is likely to rain today. So I hope that this real world example helped you understand how a typical React agent functions. Now it's time to see things in action and build a React agent using Dynamiq. All right, so I'm in my cursor ID and we are going to build a simple React agent using Dynamiq. So we'll start by importing all the necessary modules. And then we're going to provide or let's say set up a tool that the agent is going to use. So this tool would let the agent run its AI generated code in a sandbox environment, which is provided by EB2. So I've shared more details on the same in the thread below. Then we set up an LLM that the agent is going to use. So in this case, I'm using GPT-4o, but I think you can easily use any of the open source LLMs as well. Finally, we are going to define our agent. So we provide the name of the agent, which is a React agent, the LLM that we just defined, and the tools, right? So in this case, we are providing it a single tool, but I think in case you are trying to build a more sophisticated agent, then there are a lot of other tools as well supported by Dynamiq. So it can be Firecrawl for web crawling, or a function tool to call a user-defined function, and also an HTTP API call to make a typical API call. So all of these are available, and you can easily explore them and try to build an even more sophisticated, or let's say a more complex agent. So once you have provided the tools that agent can use, you should also provide it a role. So in this case, we are calling it a senior data scientist. And then you can easily run the agent and provide an input query. So in this case, I'm asking it to add the first 10 numbers and tell if the result is a prime, right? So let's run it. So once you run it, you can see all the intermediate steps of like what exactly is happening. Since we are using a tool that where the agent is able to run its AI generated code, so it is installing all the necessary libraries there. So in this case, it's SymPy, so that it can do all sort of mathematical operation there, right? So in this case, it needs to like add the first 10 number and decide whether it's a prime or not. So that's what the agent must have probably done. And finally, we see the result, and it says that the sum of first 10 numbers is 55 and it is not a prime. So I think this is the correct answer. And the good part about being able to use a tool wherein you can actually run code is that it mitigates the hallucinations that are produced by LLM, right? Because you are actually trying to run a code, get a deterministic result and provide it to user. So yeah, so it's a simple example, but you can try to do a few more complex or interesting things with it. Try it out and see how it works and let me know in the comments. Also, you can take a look at the Dynamiq GitHub repository. So here you can find more examples, like apart from building a simple React agent, you can also try multi-agent orchestration or try to build a RAG using Dynamiq. So I have provided a step-by-step explanation to everything that we discussed here in the thread that follows. And at the end, I have also shared the GitHub repository wherein you can find all the code that you need and more examples using Dynamiq. So do try them out and let me know in the comments like what you like about it. Alright, so that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I'll see you in another one. Until then, bye-bye.